All right. Sweet home San Diego. That's what Sprung Monkey called it years ago. Remember Sprung Monkey? What's up, Steve-O, Ernie? All right, it's Cantori here, 100.7. I've got an old friend in studio right now. We actually both know Ron Donahoe.
We love Ron.
What's up, Ron Donahoe?
This is like worlds collide for me,
Isn't
like a
it
George
funny?
Costanza thing, only in a good way. Because I've known Chris, I've known you for like 20 years plus. You and I have held every radio and magazine job in San Diego.
Gig. I know. We'd look at each other. We're like, yep, still hanging in there? Yep, me too.
Yep. And Meryl, I know you from various other things.
Forever and ever.
Tonight in San Diego.
Yep, I pretend to be a writer, and I'm like, Ron's an actual writer.
But you're not? Oh, you did a good job. No, you're great. Meryl, you have the most infectious smile.
Aww,
I agree.
It's really great to be around you.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel the same way. That's why we brought her in here, man. And it is cool.
Smart.
The three of us together hanging out, and I celebrate everything Ron does because he's a local and he does good work.
Yes.
And he has a book out right now. And please, Ron, tell us about your book.
So the book is called Junkets Jaunts. And I started a website about a year ago called Junkets Jaunts.
Remember that.
And it's a travel website. And so I go around to various places. And, of course, I'll do tips about the destination, where to eat, where to stay, what to see. But my big thing is to have like a little adventure, like do something creative. And I find that the best way to do that is to chat up the Uber drivers or the bartenders. Bartenders know everything.
Truth.
And if the bartender doesn't, then the guy down at the end of the bar does. Casino dealers, just having conversations with locals. If you open up to them, they open up to you. And, I think they sort of open up the destination. And then you get like
they want to share. They're proud of where they live and they want to share it, but to the right people.
Yeah. And they know what's good and they know what the guidebooks say, but they know what the guidebooks don't say.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I'm sorry, Meryl, you were going to say?
I was just going to say, so some of the locations that you mentioned, Huntington Beach, Carlsbad, Scottsdale, like how come you picked the destinations that you picked?
Sometimes it's random. Sometimes I go on vacation. Sometimes I get invited out. I know, Meryl, you were particularly interested about the avocado margaritas.
Yes, it sounds good.
Where's that at?
So it's out in Scottsdale. It's at the Four Seasons. And the story behind that was I'd had a really crappy avocado margarita that a local waitress had talked me into. She said, "Oh, no one ever sends it back." And so I gagged on it and sent it back. I mean,
that'd be my reaction.
The very next week, I met someone that invited me to the Four Seasons, and she said, "We've got this, we've got a James Beard chef, and we've got these Verde margaritas." And I'm like, "Wait, what's that?" And she said, "Oh, it's an avocado margarita." And I said, "I just had a bad one. Just, you should drive 6 hours into the desert and come get a good avocado margarita."
You drove to Arizona to get one?
So that's what it was. Yeah, I mean, I interviewed the bartender. We were out at the pool bar, and he told me how he mixes it in the blender as opposed to like doing it over the rocks, which is why you don't want it. If you do it over the rocks, it tastes like guacamole in liquid.
Oh, boy.
Exactly.
It's got to be a blended scene.
But it was blended. It was chilled. And we were sitting by the Four Seasons pool where they bring you, frozen grapes and, anything you want.
So the book's called Junkets Jaunts, Ron Donahoe in studio. And I know you recently also went to Catalina Island, or that's featured in the book. I just got back from Catalina. I wish I had your book before I went over there, my man, because I had to kind of learn the hard way and make some mistakes with the touristy places versus the local hits.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a great from San Diego. There's 4 different places to take the ferry over. Dana Point's the closest. I think that's where I went from.
That's where we went.
You park your car, you take the ferry over. It hops across the ocean. You try to drink a beer while you're bumping along, but then you get there. I don't know if you had this, but you unload your bags and it's kind of a cluster jam.
You don't know what to do. You just dropped off and you're just hanging out in the street.
And then random bags come up and you find yours. Yeah. And then you walk to where you're supposed to go because there are no cars on Catalina.
Yeah, golf carts.
And the golf cart tour, the sign there is a little misleading. I thought the golf carts were just for tooling around.
Right.
But it's actually a tour that you can take.
Yep.
I don't know if you did that.
Didn't do that. We just rented the carts and it's great. You want to give your kids good memories, you put them behind a wheel of a golf cart before they can drive.
Oh, that's funny.
They had the time of their lives. Now tell me, Ron, where can we get your book? Where can we find it?
So it's for sale on Amazon.
Okay.
Just if you Google Amazon and look up Junkets and Jaunts,
Cool.
it'll take you to the page. If you want to go to my website, junketsandjaunts.com, there's a spot there where you can buy the book.
Cool. Do you always wear the same shirt in real life that you're wearing on the cover?
So
You
where's
are wearing
where's
the
my
same
camera?
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same shirt in studio that you're wearing on the cover. Good eye,
looks
Meryl.
good. I
It's
mean, I
true.
can't
We
help
have
but
limited
notice.
budget here at the publication for now.
I will
cute.
say that's totally a Cantori move, by the way.
One shirt.
And we certainly encourage you to pick up people to pick up the book. And thanks for coming by, Ron.
Thanks.
Love
Great to see
you.
both you guys.
Thank you.